One technique that hackers often use to get malware onto a system is the use of steganography. Now, steganography is a method of hiding files inside other files, so they're hidden visually and people don't typically see them. In fact, they're often hidden from other programs as well. Now, a hacker can hide malware, trojans, and even remote control software in innocent-looking files just waiting to be executed by a user. Users can also hide images and documents in files to protect them from curious eyes, but there are ways to find these hidden files. Visually, you might not see them, but there are programs that can detect them. And this is typically because of the changes they make to the host file. Now, one use of steganography is through NTFS streams, and sometimes we call NTFS streams alternate data streams. NTFS is the file system of choice that's been used in Windows since way back in Windows NT. And as it was implemented, NTFS streams was meant to provide alternate data streams so that permissions and access control entries could be bundled with the file as metadata. But hackers can use this to stuff other files into actually. And there are programs that you can get to do this, but you can actually do this simply from the command prompt. And I'm going to show you how to do that now in Windows XP. Okay, we're in our Windows XP box. And you can do this on Windows 7, 8, Server 2008, and Server 2012, but it works a little bit differently. Now, in this directory here, I've created a directory called VTC, and I have copied the calc.exe file to this directory. And we can run it here, calc.exe. You can see that that's it. And what we want to do now first is create a simple text file, and we're going to use this text file as the host file. We're going to stuff calc into it. So all I have to do is notepad, and we're going to put the full path in here. We'll call it stuff.txt, and it's going to ask us if we want to create it. We're going to say yes. This is a test of steganography. Okay, and now let's click save, and then we'll close it out. Okay, now let's do a directory on VTC, and we have calc in there obviously, and stuff.txt, which takes up 31 bytes. So now the next step is to get calc inside this file, and that's actually very simple in Windows. All we have to do is type c:\vtc\calc.exe, and then we use the redirector to send it to c:\stuff.txt, and here's where it gets funny. We put a colon there, and that designates the alternate data stream, and we type in calc.exe. So that's how we get it in there. It's actually not that difficult at all. So let's hit enter. Doesn't give us any indication that it did it, but let's delete calc.exe from the directory now. Let's do a directory again. Now notice that now we only have stuff.txt in there. And notice the file size, it's still 31 bytes. Okay, so we don't know for sure if anything changed with it. The only way to really know is to try to run it. Now if we said type stuff.txt, that's all we'd get. Okay, and we can notepad it and we would only get stuff.txt, the contents of it. So we really don't have any indication that it's there. So what we could do is run the start command. And with start, you have to give the full path to the executable. And start is used in Windows XP, Windows 2000, and even newer versions of Windows to start certain commands and so forth. So we're starting this command, and we're going to say stuff.txt. We're going to specify the colon there, calc.exe. And let's see what we get. We got the calculator simply by starting that program stuffed into the stuff.txt file, the alternate data streams. So we can close this. And there are other ways to do this as well with different programs. Snow is a popular steganography program, and it can be used to put pictures, videos, and so forth into a file. And a lot of hackers, as I said, hide their tools this way. One popular tool that's hidden this way is Netcat, and we're going to look at Netcat a little bit later because it can be used to write data to and from hosts on a network, and it can also be used to get command shells, and hackers use this to perform system attacks. And steganography would be one good way to get netcat or something like it to a system. So we haven't seen any indication in stuff.txt that we have another executable there. So that's steganography at its basic level. And of course, there are more advanced tools that will do this a little bit better, but you can actually do this at the command prompt in Windows. It's a little bit different in Windows 7 and 8 and so forth. Like I said, in those cases, you might use the make link command and actually create a shortcut that would execute it. You wouldn't even have to use the start command to do it. And you would simply get the user to execute. Maybe you would rename it as something innocuous like winword.exe, which is the executable for MS Word, or something like that to get the user to execute the file and run it. So that's a little bit about steganography.